Okay, hello again, it's Citizen Max here, and we are now on to part 2 of my blockbuster series on triads. What I'm going to do now is show you two more shapes, as promised, two more triad shapes on the D, G and B string. If you remember in part 1 we did this shape, which is best described as an F shape or an F extract, root 4. Now, that's from a root 6 shape, as I said. What about a root 5 shape? If you play a root 5 shape, this is your root 5 chords, C, D, E, based on an A chord down here. This can be easier because if you notice on the D, G and B string, you're playing exactly the same note. So, that's a C, that's a B. So that's a B, and that's an A in a D, G, B strings. Okay, this is a D. Notice I did that just to check, but you don't really need to, because the idea is that the root, as I said, the root for the root 6 chord is also 2 frets and 2 strings higher. So you got G there, and then 2 strings higher on the D string, you've got G there. But, sorry, didn't see that. So, but it's the same idea, exactly the same interval. If you start on the A string there, then 2 frets and 2 strings higher is also going to be an octave of that. So that's C, and that's C. In other words, the root of this shape, because we're not playing the whole root 5 chord, which is 5 strings, or at least 4 strings, depending on how you play it, but we're extracting these 3 notes here. The root can be said to be on the G string, and you could call it a root 3 chord, which I think I'm going to do. Why can't I? Who's going to stop me? But it's, as I said, extracted from a root 5 chord, bar chord, that I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So there you have it. That's the second shape. Very easy. All fingers on the same string, and the root is on the G string. So again, as you tune the guitar, this is a good reference point. This is a B note, because it should be the same if it's in tune as an open B string. So if you do that, flatten your finger there, you've got a B triad. By the way, this is an inversion. I'm not going to go into the theory of that if you don't know it, but you can look up my videos on inversions, triad inversions, chord inversions, etc. But all that means is that the 3 notes, which, as we've been saying, are the 1, 3 and 5, the first, third and fifth degree of the major scale, aren't necessarily always in that exact order. Okay, you can have 1, 3, 5, or you can have 3, 5, 1, or you can have 5, 1, 3, or whatever. But the point being is the root is on the G string. So this is a G triad, obviously, because we're on the 12th fret, and of course the 12th fret is the octave of the open string. So it's a G string, that's a G triad. Okay, but it doesn't end there, because we got 3 times 3 here going on. We need a third shape, because you can get away with, as you might have done, I don't know about you, but I, for years, as I said in the last video, managed on just the root 6 and root 5 bar chords, and I would play a 12 bar progression or 3 chord progression, like only using those 2 shapes, or the other way around. Okay, but there's a third shape that we're going to use, and that is based on, this isn't really such a well-known bar chord, but it is kind of a bar chord. It's the C shape. This is C, and it's hard to play with the second, third and fourth and finger, it's a bit of a stretch. That's your normal C shape down there. Slide it up, say 2 frets, put your finger across. You only need to put your finger across on these 3 strings here, and you've got the chord D, which you moved it 2 frets higher. Go up here, you got E. Here you got F, here you got G, here you got A, and here you've got B, and you're back to C an octave higher. Now, let's again extract the triad. The triad being the triad that we're after, we're always sticking to the D, G and B strings. So it's this. Instead of playing all of that, we just play the D, the G and the B like that. So it's a slightly awkward and maybe less familiar shape to you, but it's still quite easy because it's just 3 fingers on those same 3 strings. And now we've got our 3rd shape, and this one has the root on the 2nd string, the B string, and it's based on, as I said, the C chord, or you can look at it as being based on this version of C, D, which is kind of like this, very similar to that. Because like this is D moved up, and instead of playing the open D string there, you're playing the D on the 5th fret of the A string, and you're adding this note here, the 4th fret of the D string. But that's the shape. That's the full, what you might call mini bar chord, and the root is on the, the root of that is on the A string again, the 5th fret, but in this case, again, we're only playing the D, G and B strings, so let's look at which one is the root out of them, and that is on the B string. So that's where your root is. So let's go up here, for instance, 12th fret, well, it's a B string, so the 12th fret is also B, so that is a B triad. And that therefore is an A. And that is a G. And that is an A. F. And that's D, and that's E. But again, you should probably recognise it, try and recognise it, relate to it as a D chord that you're well familiar with. This is D. Well, you're playing it like that instead. 2 out of 3 of those notes are the same, and 2 out of 3 ain't bad, as we all know. So there you have D. And you move up 1, you've got E, which, by the way, if you accidentally hit that high E string there, it's no problem whatsoever, because that's part of the chord. You're just doubling up on that 5th fret, and you can get a nice jangly sound if you so desire. So now you've got 3 shapes, 3 triads, and 3 different ways of playing it on the same 3 strings, the D, G and B string. We are going to connect them in the next video. So, as I said, if you want to go into this in more detail, there's going to be, hopefully, at least 4 or 5 more videos on this. I don't want to give you too much in one go, because you need time to digest it and practice it. But if you're ready to move on, then move straight on to the next video, where I'm going to show you how to tie these 3 triads together in the most beautifully satisfying way. And I really do mean that, because like I said, it's one of my favourite ways of playing, and very, very useful for playing rhythm and lead. You know, for rhythm it's great because you can vary the way you play, especially in a song. If you're playing a song solo and you've got a chorus that, you know, repeats umpteen times, then instead of playing, you know, your G, C, D open chords, or even your G, C, D bar chords, vary it, mix it up a bit and play a G, C, D triad progression, which we're going to go into in the next video. So thank you for listening. Please hit the like button if you've liked it, or even if you haven't, I don't care. And subscribe, and hit the subscription bell so that I can bombard you with anything that I decide to come up with on the spur of the moment. Thank you very much for watching. Sorry, I always get that wrong. Watching and listening. Thanks a lot.